Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Puborama, and in today's video, we are going to be asking a very important question when it comes to buying businesses in Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. Does size matter? Oh, that's for the wrong channel. Does location matter? There you go. Don't question what I just said. But in all seriousness, location can be a making or breaking deal when it comes to buying a business. For example, for the motorcycle club, if I want to buy myself a new coke lockup, the one I currently have is at the Alamo Seep. It's the cheapest one, it's at the edge of Sandy. However, I could upgrade to the one in Paleto Bay, which is, in the corner top of the map. Why would I spend more money on a worse location? And it's not like you might think that, hey, maybe I can sell to Sandy and get the full bonus. No, you have to sell to the city from the Paleto one. And even the lockup that cost $1.852 million in the city, you might think, hey, maybe I can sell the product right to the city, saving me a huge amount of time. But nope, to get your extra bonus, you actually have to sell to Sandy Shores. In my opinion, actually making your product when you sell from the city a sitting duck. Let's say you're a solo player and you're playing in a public lobby trying to get that high demand bonus and you get 2 motorcycles. Well, you're one person, so you're going to deliver that first motorcycle and then some oppressor 2 doofus blows up your vehicle because it's sitting directly in the city. It's happened many times to me in the past on my old Xbox account when I was foolish enough to spend $1.8 million on the location, and it's not like you save any time because Sandy Shores to the city is the same amount of speed as it takes from the city to go to Sandy Shores. So yeah, what gives? Why is it $1.8 million for a location that's worse? I seriously do not know. And that is the case for every single business when it comes to the motorcycle clubs. General rule of thumb is buy the cheapest businesses. If you were to look at my motorcycle club, I own all my businesses in Sandy Shore. And that is very simply because the businesses in Sandy Shore are all next to each other. As you can see, this is my meth. I've got my counterfeit cash right here, my coke, and then all the way up here is the weed, and the business that I'd never ever suggest to buy is the document forgery. For the most part, the most important businesses I own that make the top 3 money in the motorcycle club are right next to each other. And even the weed, sure, it's a little bit further down the road, but it's not that far away. And again, when you're selling, you can feel actually quite comfortable that not many people are going to drive all the way down here just to try and blow up your post-op van that is sitting off in the distance. So because of that, I don't see any advantage to buying more expensive motorcycle club businesses because you're not saving any time and you're also not really saving on anything. You're losing money by spending double the amount it cost from the ones in Sandy. Next up, we have the CEO side of things. We're going to start off with office buildings and agencies. To keep it simple, when it comes to the agency, it doesn't matter which building you buy. They're all going to do the exact same thing, and location really doesn't matter. For example, the most expensive agency is $2.83 million, and sure, the location is slightly better than the other buildings. However, the cheapest building is $2 million. You're going to save 800 grand, and not to mention, you get a free helicopter, a Super Voltio Carbon, which is actually a pretty dang fast helicopter. It's going to maybe take you 20 seconds to travel from this distance here to this distance here. So you're losing 20 seconds of time on your traveling because every time I do these missions, I usually just grab the free agency helicopter. Overall, location when it comes to agencies does not matter. This one here, this one here, this one here, it doesn't really matter. The only reason I bought this one is because it's my favorite looking and it's really, really close to my Maze Bank building, which is now what we're going to be jumping ship to. So as we said, agencies, it doesn't matter on location, and that's the literal exact same thing when it comes to office buildings. The Maze Bank West is the cheapest. It's normally $1 million. Sometimes it'll go on sale for about 40% off at $600,000. I'd wait until then, but either way, it's pretty cheap. It's $1 million, not too bad. The one literally down the road, like 2 blocks off the side of it, is $3.1 million. 3 times the price for no advantage whatsoever. Literally no advantage between these 2 buildings. These 2 buildings over here, this one is 2.25 million, the Arcadius, and the next one is the Maze Bank, which is 4 million. What is the advantage on the literal location of these 2 buildings? They are 1 block apart from each other, and yet this one's half the price. Overall, buy the cheapest building. It does not matter what location you buy. They're all less than 5 blocks apart from each other. The only reason you'd buy the Maze Bank Tower is for flexing. And let's be real, the only flex you're saying is that you have bad money choices and that you could have bought a much cheaper building, but instead you opted to waste more money on something you don't need. Next up, we have the buildings you can buy with your CEO office buildings. Yeah, it's kind of weird you have to buy a building to then buy another building, but that's just kind of how it works for the CEO way of life. So we've got two separate types of buildings you can buy. You've got vehicle cargo and special cargo. Let's start off with vehicle cargo. If we go to the warehouse map and we take a look at all the warehouses, there's maybe 10 or so in total, but honestly, it doesn't matter. This location over here is no better than this location, because when it comes to sourcing vehicles, they're going to spawn randomly, sometimes in Sandy Shores by the windmill farm, sometimes they'll spawn over in Zancudo. It's a random spot. Half the time you just have no clue what you're going to be thrown with. So this location might be better if you get a Zancudo one off towards the military base, but then if you get one towards the windmills over here, it's going to take you way longer to drive all the way towards LSIA than buying one like this. By far, I would just suggest to buy this building right here. It's the reason why I own this one. It is $1.5 million, making it the cheapest of all the vehicle cargo warehouses. The next cheapest is this, $1.6 million. But it's just not as good of a location as this one. This one's in the city. It's a very quick drive, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's literally right down the road from a $2.7 million building and a $2.8 million building. It's right smack dab in the middle. This one over here is only 2.1. So yeah, buy this building. It's by far the cheapest. Apart from that, location really doesn't matter. They're all really expensive. I mean, why is this one down here 1.9 million, yet this one is 1.5? Sometimes I don't understand Rockstar's logic, but yeah, for the most parts, just buy this building. It's going to be the cheapest and get the job done. Out with vehicle cargo and in with special cargo. Now, special cargo does actually matter on location, and that's down to the latest update in Grand Theft Auto 5 Online that allows you to pay associates like Lupe to go out, source your crates, bring them back. You want to own a string of warehouses. For example, large warehouses. On my Broke to Billions account, I own all of these warehouses, all these 5 in a row here. And it's a very quick trip. I just go to this warehouse, pay $7,500, then go to this warehouse, and then this warehouse. It's a very easy way of saving time instead of owning just the cheapest ones going here, and then, here, and then over here, and then over here. It's a lot faster on saving time. Now, I do want to point out that that is very, very costly. I would wait when you're buying large warehouses until they are on sale. Buy the cheap ones. Some of these go really expensive, like $2.6 million, but you can also buy a cheap one like the Cypress Flats for $1.9 million. So what I would suggest to do is buy the cheapest warehouse, which is the $1.9 million Cypress Flats, and then wait for the others to go on sale, which is what I did, and then purchase them, because if not, well, yeah, they are really, really expensive. $3.5 million for this one up here. So that would be my suggestion. Wait for these to go on sale and then just buy the string of them, just like I did on my Broke to Billions account. I've already made $33 million off of special cargo just in the past 2 months from my Broke to Billions account. Now, with large warehouses aside, they're still medium and small. Let's start off with small. If you're a newer player, obviously you're not looking to pay your associates because you're going to be trying to get a steady cash flow, and you're not going to buy 5 of these warehouses because why would you? Just buy a large one at that point. So when it comes to small, I would suggest to buy this warehouse here. Your Maze Bank office building you're going to buy, which cost $1 million as we talked about, it's right around here. And well, the small one that I would suggest is right here. It's only about $110,000 more than the cheapest, which is $250,000. So yeah, really there's not a huge price difference. To earn $110,000 in GTA nowadays, even if you're new to the game, is pretty dang simple. You can earn it in less than probably an hour, especially if you have a friend helping you out. So I would just suggest buy this warehouse because it's the closest to your Maze Bank building, and it's not that much more money. You obviously don't want to buy this one over here for $400,000, or this one down here for $392, because that's just a waste of property. Why would you ever buy this one down here, by the way? Why is it so expensive? But now we move on to medium warehouses, and the very simple answer is buy this warehouse right here. It's $902,000, and it is literally across the road from your Maze Bank building. $902,000 is the second cheapest. The cheapest is $880,000. It's only $20,000 cheaper. There's no reason to buy any other one. This one here goes for $1 million. This one is even over $1 million at 1.17 or 1.017. So yeah, all these other buildings are just kind of pointless in my opinion, judging that you can just get the second cheapest one right here for quite a cheap price tag, and yeah, easily be sourcing 42 crates. And then, as I said, for large warehouses, I would highly suggest to just buy them in a string over here, get the cheapest one for 1.9, and then move your way on along. So location does matter, but it doesn't matter too much with special cargo for small and medium because the cheaper ones are quite close to your Maze Bank building. It's really only when you get to large that location is very important, and it might cost you a lot of money. And finally, we have Maze Bank foreclosures. This is where you can buy just about everything else available in the game. I mean, just look at how populated this map is with a bunch of random junk that probably doesn't help you out all too much. So let's start off with clubhouses. Now, clubhouses are associated with your motorcycle club, and you'll notice there's a bunch in the city, but there's also some off towards the other parts of the map. The cheapest one is right here, Great Chaparral Clubhouse. This is the one you gotta buy. Don't even question it. It's only like, I think, 250 grand. The only reason you need to own a clubhouse is for two things. A, if you're newer to the game, you can do source missions in the clubhouse or contracts and do like life and death bikes. It's pretty quick. And the second reason why you'd own a clubhouse is to buy your motorcycle club businesses. All you need to do is buy the clubhouse. It doesn't matter where the location is, and then you can purchase any business itself from it in the motorcycle club. So just buy the cheapest one. Doesn't really matter what location you buy. I would never suggest to buy the ones in the city because they're double the price for literally no reason whatsoever. So now that we've gone through clubhouses, I didn't mean to go back there, we move on to bunkers. Now, bunker location is actually very important in my opinion. And the bunker that you should look at most buying is this one over here. This bunker costs $1.65 million. And all the bunkers over here, 1.9, 2.5, 2.1, over here 2.2, 2.29. This bunker is super close to the city. Like you can see, it's just off the highway. And most of the sale missions you'll do with your bunker are somewhat situated in the city, whether it's delivering buggies in the city across the map or insurgents. It's actually a really good location for how cheap it is, because the other locations are, well, they're not as good. I mean, this one's only 100 grand cheaper and it's quite a bit further down the road, about a mile and a half. Why would you just not spend an extra 100 grand to get a much better location? These ones over here, I think these are way worse locations. $2 million for a spot that, as you can see, is quite a bit further away. I mean, sure, you can drive through, I guess, on some of the windy roads to make your way to the city, but I just don't see that as efficient. The best way you'd go is all the way through here, around, and then back through. Yeah. Overall, I would say the best location for how cheap it is definitely the Chumash bunker. The one I personally own is the farmhouse bunker. This one's definitely the best location, but it's also the most expensive. I think it's like 2.5 mil. So if you want to spend the most money to get the best location, the farmhouse is the best. But I wouldn't suggest it because it just costs so much money. Next up, we have hangars. Now, hangars I've talked about in the past. They're actually on sale this week. And, well, hangar location doesn't really matter. If you're going to be going into the military base a lot, then just buy the cheapest one. It's $1.251 million right now, but it's normally $2 million. And the other hangars we got are over down in the city, $915,000 and $720,000. Again, this one's normally 1.2 mil. So it's about half the price of the hangar all the way over in the military base. You want my opinion? Just buy the one over here. It's $1.2 million. It's 800 grand cheaper. And if you just want a spot to store your planes and complete a lot of Smuggler's Run missions, then it's going to do the job, especially because, well, planes are really the only reason why you buy a hangar nowadays, as the missions are kind of poob on their overall amount of money they make. So, yeah, I just suggest to buy this hangar, and then maybe if you want to upgrade later on, buy the Fort Zancudo hangar, $34.97. But overall, don't buy the more expensive ones. They have literally zero benefits. I was foolish on my old account, which you can see here. I purchased the more expensive one, didn't realize that it had literally no benefit, and yeah, could have just bought the one right next to it. I thought it was larger or something like that. So yeah, just buy the cheapest one, depending on what specific area you want. I don't really think there's an advantage to either. I'm just in the city more, so I bought the one in the city. Over towards facilities, we have a lot, and honestly, when it comes to facilities, location matters a lot. The location I would suggest to buy is this one right here, the Ron Wind Farm facility. I don't know how much it actually costs, but this is the one I've always priced out to be the best. First of all, because driving to it, you just need to drive right off the road, skadoosh up, off-roading, and boom, you're at the wind farm. And then you want to get back down to the road, boom, just jump right off. I hate this location here. This is the most expensive at $2.9 million. Why would you buy this one? You have to drive all the way through a dirt road down here to make it into the city, when you could just be on the road normally with like maybe an extra 10-second drive. Yeah, I think that this location is way better. Now, when it comes to all the other locations, they're not bad. 1.6 million is fine. 2.3, a little expensive. 2.5. So yeah, overall, I mean, if you're going for the cheaper ones and still in a decent location, probably this one here, or yeah, probably this one over here is even your better location because you just drive up on the highway and then you drive all the way down to the city. I just like this location the best because when it comes to like the ambulance missions and the Deluxo, it's pretty quick just to drive straight over there with the Deluxo and come back. It's also somewhat more center of the map, as you can see, so that's what I'd say. Do not buy this one here. Absolute waste of money. Do not buy this one here. Absolute waste of money. Look at how far off it is from the map. Don't buy a facility that's going to make you drive longer than, you know, it's going to be worthwhile making money as it is. So without the facility, now we move on to the nightclubs, and there's a lot more nightclubs than you would think in GTA. I don't know why Rockstar put so many, but basically, it doesn't matter where you buy your nightclub location. I would suggest, if you want my opinion, to buy this one here. It's the cheapest. It's $1,080,000. This one over here, I would say is a bit better though. So just get this one because it's a lot cheaper, or not a lot cheaper, but it's only like $50,000 more, and it's in a better location by a little bit. The reason I personally believe that it doesn't matter where your nightclub location is because you're never actually sourcing for your nightclub. For example, when your nightclub, as long as you kick the person out or deliver the VIP, you're going to keep your popularity up at max. All you need to do is visit your nightclub once every, I don't know, 3-4 hours, collect the passive income, and then do a sale mission. And it doesn't matter where you do the sale mission, you're always in the city. It's only like an extra 1-minute drive from this location compared to the one I own. So yeah, overall, I don't think it matters your nightclub location. Don't buy one that's $800,000 more on cost when you can just buy one right here that's super cheap and it's going to do the job that you need done anyway. Finally, I keep backing off because I'm so used to, finally we have the arcades and the auto shops. Now arcades, there's not many, but there are some off towards the other side of the map. Now the arcade, I would actually suggest to get a really good location for, and that's down to one very simple reason. The arcade has a terminal command center where you can source everything. You can source crates, you can purchase supplies for your motorcycle club and your bunker. Because of that, I would suggest to buy the closest arcade to whatever building you own. My Maze Bank building is like right here, and this is the arcade I own on my Broke to Millions account. It is expensive, $2.3 million. The other ones are also quite expensive though, 2.5, 1.8, 2.1. Just buy the one that's closest to your building. So if you own the Maze Bank office building here, then buy the one here. You know, just keep that in mind. I'd suggest though, if you own the Maze Bank that costs $1 million, just buy this one right here. It's a little bit more money, but it'll get the job done, and location 100% matters for your arcade. Finally, we have the auto shops. Now, auto shops, I also, well, don't believe location matters. A, because there's no auto shops anywhere else, and they're all basically in the city. This one here costs 1.7, 1.6, 1.9, 1.7. Really doesn't matter. Just buy the one that you think is the best location. Overall, all you need to do is buy a bed in your auto shop, and then what I'll do is I'll just press start, find a new invite-only session, and then once I've completed the contract, it'll just load me back into the auto shop instead of having to drive back. It saves a lot of time. So overall, that's what I'd say for auto shops. Just buy the location that, again, is closest to whatever you want to own, because they're all pretty similar in price tag overall, so I wouldn't say location matters too much. Overall, that's basically all the buildings in Grand Theft Auto 5 Online that you would need to earn money with. Obviously, the Kosatka doesn't matter because it's a Kosatka. The final property we're going to talk about is a single high-end apartment in Los Santos. And that would be, well, it's kind of challenging to work this map, but it would be the one right here, it should be. Yes, this one, 4 Integrity Way. It is $235,000 for this apartment. There's 3 different versions of it, but the other ones are more expensive, so just buy the cheapest. It's a high-end apartment. It's got a 10-car garage. And I should also point out that you can do all of your heist. And this location is absolutely amazing. If I get directions to it and we return to the map, the location on the map is right here. It is such a good spot to own an apartment because if you're doing missions from any sort of location, you can instantly leave wherever you want to go. As you can see, I'm kind of a weirdo on this account, and I bought all the stilt apartments next to each other, but hey, I got the money to anyway, right? So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is my guide for locations in Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. If I messed anything up, let me know in the comments down below, but everything should just be about spot on. Locations really, for the most part, don't matter too much. The only thing that they matter for is really special cargo, and maybe the hangar, depending on how often you go to Fort Zancudo. Other than that, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.